Well, this is something. We got caught out on the lake in a blizzard. Hey Luke, I'm not sure this windsock's gonna hold up to this abuse.
You can even see it from the shore.
I can see some headlights down there. Headlights.
Oh. I decided it was not a good idea to keep moving through the ice. Woo. Yeah, my glasses got fogged up here.
Oh yeah. Well, I was never out in a blizzard like this before. I can't even see anything. Way to go, Greg.
Hey, thanks for coming out.
Hey, I can't even see the ice fisherman.
There's two people standing out on the lake in a blizzard. Oh my God.
Yeah, where's the ice fisherman at? His hut is out there, I think. Fish don't care, but...
Did you get your thing stuck in there good?
Yeah, pretty good. I jammed it through all the way, so
Oh.
it went through the ice. I felt it.
How thick is that? How long was your...
It seemed like about 8 or 9 inches.
Yeah, that's what I figured it was.
Because it kind of stopped for a while, and then I kept pounding, and then it finally busted through. If I had a larger drill bit, that would be nice, like a 3/4 inch drill bit,
Yeah.
a little bit longer.
It would just shave its way down.
Oh, that would be good.
Battery powered 1.5 inch auger. Nice and sharp.
Yeah, we were way down there,
Yeah, we were doing.
and then we came way across, and it was like I couldn't see the sled anymore. I was like, I don't know where we are.
Yeah.
Because we were way down there looking up at the dock. I remember seeing that, and I'm like, wow, we're really far away. And then all of a sudden we're back.
We were using the whole like that northwest wind. We can go back and forth between those pine trees up there. That's far shore there, and these pine trees over here on this side. That's about a half a mile. and if we go from that pine tree to that far shore over there, that's 5/8 of a mile.
Oh. I'm just amazed how changeable that weather can be.
Yeah.
Like that.
That was a bluster.
Feel that gust level and everything settled after that. Like now it's not nearly as windy.
It's more of a common westerly effect now. Yeah.
Is that a...
That was a storm, what that was.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly felt like a storm. Like it just came and went like kaboom.
I like the snow on the front of the mast. In front of the flank.
Snow everywhere.
Now look over here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What a beautiful day. Now what'll happen, we've seen this a couple times that we're out here sailing. All those clouds will eventually work their way out and you just have clear blue sky. And then they'll slow down.
Will it?
Because the weather's done.
Oh.
You know, we'll see.
Was there supposed to be like a front coming through or something
Maybe.
causing this today, or?
I don't know. I don't know.
I looked last night, I guess it was, and I saw a bunch of purple and stuff on there. I thought, well, that ought to make it interesting.
I saw 17 to 22 or something like that around 1 o'clock. And then, yeah, first it was showing 16 or 17 2 days before. So, well, once they start to shake up, let's see if everyone started saying 22. I'm thinking, if you go out in a 25, you're going to break stuff and not have that much fun. Because a 25 means you're going to have 45-mile-an-hour gusts.
Oh, yeah. Well, I saw on Weather Underground, I looked this morning for Montoursville, and it said 24 was around the peak at say 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then it was going to maybe taper off to like 20 by the end of the day.
Yeah, they're saying like 7 and 8 o'clock is still having 15-mile-an-hour winds. So
come across.
I guess you can turn a little.
Oh, I felt that
It's
pick
coming
up.
from north. You can look up there. You're
Yeah, I see the sock.
Going upwind a little bit. You turn toward the shore, you go past it. But I guess it's
Oh, it's catching on that thing.
Now turn all the way around. Back out. There you go. Start moving. It's hard to tell. I can usually feel the wind on the side of my face. And know where to go. Once you go past the speed, then just go by feel.
How far should I go?
All the way.
All the way. Holy mackerel, yeah. We're moving now.
Yep.
Okay, now what?
Now turn left. So all the way around. Turn right.
We're turning down. Holy shit.
Don't roll around that. Come on. You're out running the window. See how far we got?
Oh, yeah.
Now you're lining up the window. Turn away. Going out the door. That way. Upper wind. Yeah, the wind sucks kind of laying down.
Where should I go now? We're moving, good.
It's always a pretty well controlled turn. But it turns real fast if you keep got the stick turn or something going on. Oh, the rear blade must have busted.
Something.
That was weird.
It was weird.
Pull that up out of there. Here. Oops. Now you can steer with both of them. Just hook them both together. See what that does. It'll feel harder because the rear blades they steer pretty hard.
Oh.
But it'll steer quicker, so be careful. Oh, we're out of wind.
We're out of wind.
Oh.
where the sock is anyway.
Yeah.
And we can see this time.
Yeah. Right on past the sock.
Kind of funny.
It's coming in from up there, north. Turn right a little. It's just a little soft. If you were by yourself, you'd be moving fast.
The wind is quite changeable today.
Oh yeah.
Goes the turn. Maybe it was just... control of it.
It's all still connected, but this isn't really doing anything anymore. Maybe
Did something break off there?
Yeah, that's where I used to lock it to one place.
Oh.
I thought maybe I think that this thing is just too flimsy. It's just twisted.
Yeah, and it's, you know, when we're going really fast, my my body's shifting, and then this gets a little off center.
Yeah.
And then it really
It'll
goes
swerve.
wild.
Yeah, I think nothing's broken. We can still sail.
Okay. Wow.
Let's see if we can just lock that down underneath this. Can you sit on that?
Yeah, I can.
Just keep it from squirming around.
Because that thing
I'm gonna C-clamp them on next time. But actually, when that's tight, when it was working earlier in the day, I thought it was really fun to control.
It was good watching you. Like we were gonna flip over any minute. Like something was going on. Yeah.
I know the feeling. I told you.
I can hop in the sidecar.
Grab the rope. Grab the rope that's loose there. Oh yeah, slide up. Pull the rope loose though. We'll make
mechanisms. It's actually a great innovation. It needs a little refinement, but it's going to be really neat. This was really fun though, holy man. I think you're on to something with that rear steering.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think you are. It's gonna revolutionize the machine. It's like having a rudder.
Yeah.
Control. Wow. Wow, man.
No crashing in the box.
I don't know if you should. Probably the normal person shouldn't have that much adrenaline in it. I think you build up. You must build up to that.
Yeah, this is 30 years of build on.
Wow.
Here, I'll take the one.
Okay. Thank you. That was so much fun. Hey, this is January 26th. We're out here on Rose Valley Lake. There's some ice boating going on. We're hoping to get the hang gliders off here and just fly a little bit above the ice. Look at that guy go. There he goes. I got this camera on a tripod, but I'm too tempted to point it around to get the activity. I thought it was important to at least show you what we were doing for safety here, because somebody that gets into towing and doesn't know anything about it and they think they're gonna just tow, you're looking to get yourself really hurt or killed, you know. I did something really stupid when I was first starting to learn. I tried to have my brother-in-law tow me with a truck, and that was absolutely insane. So I started out the tow and I started to run with the glider, and I realized it was out of control and he was giving it more throttle than I was comfortable with, and all of a sudden, you know, I'm like panicking. I'm like, I don't really want this thing coming off the ground under these conditions. Luckily, I had one of them link knives fastened out on my tow rope with a string on it. And that's the only thing that saved my butt, was I pulled that link knife and it cut that weak link out there. So I knew just enough to be dangerous. I shouldn't have been doing that kind of stuff. I wasn't surface tow rated. It was stupid to pull with a straight line behind a truck, because there's just no way of controlling the tow tension, really. I mean, the driver's just there's a straight line, and the only stretch you're getting is if the rope stretches a little, and it doesn't stretch much. It's going to pound you into the ground. So I saved my butt with one of those link knives early on in my stupidity of trying to do things that I shouldn't have been doing. So anyway, I'm just bringing that up because people that see this towing stuff, if they don't think about it, you know, and they just do something, they could possibly get themselves really hurt. And I'm trying to put this out there that it can be fun and exciting to do this, but you got to know what you're doing, and you got to work with, you know, instructors and people that can help you along to get to this point of doing this stuff, because, you know, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, and I don't want somebody watching this video thinking that this is easy and you just go do it, because, you know, you could really get hurt. Anyhow, have fun out there. Hey, I got some notes here. I have to give you some warnings about the hang glider towing that you're going to see in this video. We chose to do this on a day that had 13-mile-per-hour wind forecast, and there were gusts forecast, you know, maybe to be above 25 mile per hour. What we were going to do is hand towing, and you know, I've done hand towing at the beach, and it was no problem in that laminar wind along the beach. But this was a little more concerning with the gusts and everything that were potentially, you know, on this lake. So, you know, bottom line is this is a dangerous activity, and a crew needs to be able to grab this glider at any time. You know, if you're hooked in as the pilot, you could be putting yourself into some serious peril without having a crew that can be like your spotters, basically, to grab a hold of the glider and keep it from flipping or something. However, you know, with a large open space like a lake, where it's miles and miles across and there's fairly smooth winds coming through there, because they're not impacting a bunch of terrain that's causing rotor because of they're blowing over the ice. You know, it tends to calm the turbulence there to a degree, but there still are those gusts. And what I wanted to say is that, you know, I had called Dennis Pagan before going to this lake, you know, to give him an invitation to come too. Well, he called me up and said thanks for the invitation, but he could not make it. But he gave me some, you know, pretty stern warnings on hand towing, you know, that it can be really dangerous. And the point he was trying to make with it is that when you're hand towing and you have a couple people on your tow rope, they need to be coordinated with the pilot to not put too much tow pressure on the glider. In other words, if one person's pulling and the other one isn't pulling, or if they're both pulling and they keep pulling when the pilot needs you to stop, that's not a really good situation. So, you know, Dennis's point was to make sure the tow line team does not put too much force in, especially when it's gusty. If you've ever seen a kite lock out, so a kite is flying, just a kite on the beach or something, and it gets to a point of lockout, it'll dive and smack right into the ground. I mean, I've flown little kites and they tend to do that. Well, that's what you're kind of putting yourself into in a position with towing like that, with hand towing. You know, and that's what Dennis was saying. You don't want to be in that situation. So communication ahead of time was important, you know, with the team. Plus, I had a release on to do the hand towing, and by then the winds calmed down somewhat, so it wasn't as bad as, you know, it wasn't worst case scenario or anything on this lake. In fact, you know, the folks trying to hand tow me couldn't go fast enough to get me into the air because the wind had dropped off. So one thing we did, though, just in case, was we added rope tethers to the glider to assist, you know, if with my spotters, if they saw the glider getting out of control or whatever, they could pull it back down with those ropes, and you know, help the pilot get back in control of it. And also, I had made a decision to not try to fly high. I just wanted to do a skimming flight on above the ice. That's all we were hoping for. So what we were looking for was to have like hardly any ground speed, just a little, you know, just based on the wind blowing on the glider was meant to get the glider up with just walking or slightly running with the tow rope. But so, you know, in a 20-mile-an-hour headwind, you really don't need much ground speed at all, maybe none, depending on the glider, to actually get the glider to fly with and pick up the weight of the pilot. So, you know, I just thought that I should do the responsible thing here and explain that this is dangerous. This is not something that beginners should be trying to do. You know, I've been flying hang gliders about 10 years, and I had a fair amount of towing type training in the very beginning, but it was with, you know, it was with a scooter tow system. My instructor did try to hand tow us one time, but then we had to stop because a storm was coming and we just had to put everything away quick. So we never actually got to do it. But then, you know, later I got to do it myself with some assistance on the beach and stuff. So it was quite fun. God, the wind is trying to blow my stuff away. So I said I was initially trained by a certified instructor, and he used an 80cc Honda scooter converted into a tow winch. Now the winch that you're going to see in this video is a winch that I built out of a 250cc Honda scooter, kind of patterned off of a little bit off of ones that I had used in my tow tech training. So, you know, I have a throttle limiter on my scooter so that you know, the operator can't apply maximum throttle to that thing. You really don't need much throttle to get a glider in the air. Now, if you're trying to tow somebody really high, you might be getting up to like a quarter throttle or something on that when you're climbing somebody out steep and high. But I'll adjust this scooter tow for those conditions when we think we're going to do that kind of a thing. So anyway, I gotta just keep moving on here. So under USHPA, you can get training from a certified instructor in towing. I'm not a certified instructor yet, but I do, like I said, I do have 10 years experience in hang gliding and, you know, other types of flying with a private pilot license and stuff. So what I wanted to say is USHPA, the United States Hang Gliding and Paragliding Association, has certification / ratings program. You know, they have a program to train people and get them into a competent state to do these types of activities. So I've been trained in surface towing, and I have like what they call an ST, surface tow special skill or rating, and I also have a Tow Tech 1 certification to operate a tow winch. So I'm not a newbie to towing at all, but you know, I don't do it that often. But there's a lot of things you want to do to set up your towing operation so that it's safe. And you know, there's good guidance and skills to be learned in getting that USHPA ST surface tow rating, and also getting certified as a Tow Tech 1 or a higher level as a Tow Tech 2. So what I'm saying, what I've learned allowed me to do what I was doing on this day and in this video as safely as possible. You know, and also with the crew that we had. I had to kind of explain what we were doing because the crew is new, but they understood what I was trying to accomplish, that I didn't want to get towed high. I just wanted to like have a hovering tow, low tow across the ice, because my tow operator is my dad, and he's never done this before, although he has, you know, excellent skills as far as riding a scooter and throttle control and things like that. You know, just knowing what the engine sounds when it's under load, or how high the RPMs are on an engine. He's got all that stuff covered because of his experience. So hey man.
What's up?
Oh, I'm trying to finish up something. I'm going through trying to give some explanation as to what we were doing on our towing stuff.
Right.
I got that camera going.
Yeah, see.
Let me finish this up before
Yeah, have
it
at,
gets
man.
dark. I'm just like speaking to the camera here and
Yeah, you're good.
telling what I'm trying to explain this, so you know, other people, you and folks can understand it. So here I go again. So what we wanted to do was hand tow gliders on this lake. Unfortunately, there was not enough wind on this day. So I decided to try this winch flight for like the first time flying behind this winch. And I explained to my father how I wanted him to operate the winch and how I wanted just enough power to lift off and fly over the ice, and that there was, you know, that he was to back off the throttle once I got like halfway point in the flight from where I was starting out to where the turnaround pulley was at. So did all that explaining and stuff, and you know, I trust my dad to do the right thing, because he actually does ride a 250cc Honda scooter, and he knows what the throttle control feels like and all that on there. So what I did before that was I demonstrated with a sled pull. We had this little orange sled, and I wanted my dad to see how much throttle I wanted him to give me, because I didn't want him to go, you know, wild on it, especially on my first try. So we did that sled tow out to the turnaround pulley. It worked okay. However, I don't think we had quite enough load on it. We didn't. So then, because a small girl was on the sled, and what we ended up doing next was we took a larger pilot and put him on the sled, and he actually drug his feet in front of the sled, so to put more drag on it to kind of simulate what the glider and pilot would be kind of putting that much load on. So Chuck did that, and we pulled Chuck out to the turnaround pulley. Actually, my dad did it totally, because I just sort of coached him on how much throttle, and he just kept applying the steady throttle until Chuck got all the way out there to the turnaround pulley. So I guess that covers that piece of it. So my dad basically simulated what I wanted him to do when I got in the glider and got ready to go. Like I said before, I never towed up with this glider before, or with this winch. I never towed a glider with it yet. But we did, you know, use it previously to tow people on sleds and things like that, towed people on bicycles, experimented with it, so we knew what it was capable of, and that's why I even put that throttle limiter on there, is just because the thing's got a lot of power, and it could definitely overpower a pilot, or, you know, bust a weak link, whatever. So anyhow, here's this kind of the safety plan that we had going into this thing. We had the equipment, you know, that I've already flown with doing hand towing. So I got the harness sitting over here, and I'm going to show you that in a minute, but it's getting dark out here. I'm standing with a fire to my back, but that's keeping me warm. So what I wanted to say about this harness setup here, I've used this harness before with this very same glider, hand towing at the beach with 20-mile-per-hour wind. Had absolutely no issues with it. It was so much fun. So that's why we thought we could do it with a steady wind up at this lake. Well, as it turned out, we didn't have enough wind, but so there's a weak link on the tow rope, and also I have on here one of those Coke 2-stage releases, and the Coke release is connected to the harness loops, kind of where I sewed these loops on, which is just, you know, kind of just below your chest, but quite a bit above your hips. So anyhow, I've used this before with that positioning of these loops, so I was confident that that would work okay. And then also we had sewed, or not sewed, but we had attached grab ropes on the wing wires on the glider, the flying wires, so that assistants could grab those if this wind got crazy or tried to flip or something. So that was, you know, part of the safety. The winch also has a brake built in right next to the throttle, and there's a kill switch right there too. So those can shut the winch down immediately if there's a problem. And something else we did too, since we're using a turnaround pulley, you know, the flight could be observed by the tow operator. In other words, my dad could see me flying through the air, and he could know if anything was going on and to know to shut the tow down. So that was a plus. And also, Chuck served as like the launch director. He stood midway along the flight path to signal to my dad, like when I was ready. He relayed the signals, you know, lower the power or raise the power, or, you know, or hold steady. He had hand signals worked out with my dad, and he was watching the flight. So we had those bases covered as to like when to go and when to hold steady and when to shut down. One of the things that was sort of unexpected with this flight is that you know, the distance closed up pretty quick because we didn't you know, use half of the lake. We only used maybe 750 to 1,000 feet of distance between where I started and the turnaround pulley. So as I get in the air and I'm flying along, I realize, hey, this is coming up quick. I'm going to be coming up to this turnaround pulley. I don't know if my dad recognizes how close that I'm getting to this. So I pop my release off. Purposely, I have this Coke release. I popped the release, went and landed. Well, the unexpected thing is the tow line snapped back in a hurry towards the turnaround pulley. Kind of, you know, all that tension was like a rubber band, and then all of a sudden it went back to the winch and got the line all balled up and stuff. Some of this stuff I should have anticipated because of my previous towing experience with scooter tows. They had their winch where they had like a brush on there to kind of give tension or to keep the rope from flailing around and getting tangled up in the winch itself. So I've learned from that, just this one tow, that I need to improve that system on the winch. And the other thing is, we should have had a drogue chute on it. In my previous towing experiences with a scooter tow, especially on, you know, long tows and stuff like that, there was a drogue chute so that after the pilot released, the tow operator could keep the throttle on and pull the rope back in. So that's something I should have done, but we were kind of, you know, burning daylight, and we wanted to get the show on the road, so it was my own fault really for not taking the time, setting up the drogue chute properly and doing that. I probably could have saved hours worth of screwing around trying to get this cord untied and everything else untangled. So it's getting dark here. I gotta finish up. Yeah, so oh yeah, and one other thing I wanted to say is in the actual towing harness mechanism and the release stuff, I'm going to add, for the next time, I'm going to add a secondary release means on this thing. And I'll show you what I'm talking about there. It's called a link knife. So I'm going to move the camera over to where that is. Maybe Luke came over. He could hold this camera and shine it or point it right at what I'm doing here with this.
I got you.
I'll sneak around the other side. So this is the Coke release. Your control bar for your hang glider. Can you see that, Luke?
Yeah, it should be good.
So the control bar sits in this area. This is your, when you're doing a standing launch, this is the line that you're that's providing the tension. This secondary line is only used if you were to want to tow high, which I did not want to tow high. So this release will pop off of here, like that. Now you're off tow. And that's exactly what I did. I popped both releases and I'm off tow. But what I want to do for the next flight is I'm going to have a secondary method of cutting myself free. If for instance somehow this thing got tangled up and didn't work right, and I'm just simulating here what I'm doing, but so you take this link knife and you pass this through here. Yeah. Pass that through there, and then goes on here. But the way this thing works is it can cut that. I'm just showing you the concept here. So you're under tow pressure here, and this release doesn't work. This link knife is made to cut that weak link. That's its purpose. There's dual razor blades in there. So I would just be, you know, if I'm on tow and I want to be off a tow, whoa, I need something to hold my harness back. But essentially, you're cutting that. Boom, you cut that weak link off, and away you go, you know, and you're off tow now. So if this fails, that's your secondary, and that's what I intend to do next time. Plus, if something really went nuts, you got a link, or I mean, you have a knife that you can. I mean, this is called a hook knife. If you had the wherewithal to grab this out of a pocket and rip that, you could do that too. But these link knives are quicker and more efficient than that.
And it'll
in
go
a panic
whole lot
situation.
Easier. Especially with all the tension that you already have going on it, it's going to be a lot quicker and cut way nicer when you're actually going. It wouldn't be as hard as what you just witnessed.
Flailing this thing around
would
not be preferable when you could have this right on here, right there, and immediately, you know, yank it to the side. You're pulling against this, which is attached to this, so you got something to pull against, so you can rip that, cut that right off. So anyhow, that's just a quickie view of the harness situation and whatever that we used and how I'm going to improve it for the next time. So, well, hey, I hope you enjoyed this little discussion, but I thought it was important to at least show you what we were doing for safety here, because somebody that gets into towing and doesn't know anything about it and they think they're gonna just tow, you're looking to get yourself really hurt or killed, you know. I did something really stupid when I was first starting to learn. I tried to have my brother-in-law tow me with a truck, and that was absolutely insane. So I started out the tow and I started to run with the glider, and I realized it was out of control and he was giving it more throttle than I was comfortable with, and all of a sudden, you know, I'm like panicking. I'm like, I don't really want this thing coming off the ground under these conditions. Luckily, I had one of them link knives fastened out on my tow rope with a string on it, and that's the only thing that saved my butt. Was I pulled that link knife and it cut that weak link out there. So I knew just enough to be dangerous. I shouldn't have been doing that kind of stuff. I wasn't surface tow rated. It was stupid to pull with a straight line behind a truck because there's just no way of controlling the tow tension, really. I mean, the driver's just, there's a straight line, and the only stretch you're getting is if the rope stretches a little, and it doesn't stretch much. It's going to pound you into the ground. So I saved my butt with one of those link knives early on in my stupidity of trying to do things that I shouldn't have been doing. So anyway, I'm just bringing that up because people that see this towing stuff, if they don't think about it, you know, and they just do something, they could possibly get themselves really hurt. And I'm trying to put this out there that it can be fun and exciting to do this, but you gotta know what you're doing, and you gotta work with, you know, instructors and people that can help you along to get to this point of doing this stuff, because, you know, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, and I don't want somebody watching this video thinking that this is easy and you just go do it, because, you know, you could really get hurt. Anyhow, have fun out there. Catch any you want to cook them. I got a camper there with a cooker.
Oh, no. I left them all go.
Oh, you let them go?
You betcha. If I get that up. I really.
Bike and a and an ice boat in the back.
I got a shot at it.
Oh, that's pretty unusual.
That's a great idea. Where is the ice boat?
Hey Jerry, if we wouldn't get arrested, you could tow me up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you'd get arrested.
Yeah.
You just need a longer rope to tow it from the road. That's a rope right
Whenever
there.
you're ready.
Yeah, I know. Right there.
Now.
All right,
It's not the best thing in the world, but
Somebody was saying they just use stainless steel.
there we go.
They put it on with their arm.
There we go.
Yeah, I've used this stuff. How many big pit, Dad? This other stuff is just like.
see if there's any going to be any wind anymore. There should be enough. I guess we don't necessarily need them, but
See how it's searching?
yeah.
Why does it do that? Oh, look at that. I even ended right on the one I wanted.
In order to get this to turn on, you just press the red.
Oh, he got down. Kicked your foot.
Well, I was
I can hold
videoing
that.
and now I don't know what I
I'm sorry, I thought I was gonna go over and grab the other side of it quick.
What's
and then
your name?
Lucas Forsman. Hi, nice to meet you. You're gonna need the
Okay.
Not enough manpower to get them up.
That's what I was thinking. You're gonna need that motor.
Then I started chopping.
Thank you for another great flying from the Wind Rider.
This foot peg is solid. It doesn't flip up yet. It's up.
Yeah. Getting a view of this craziness.
That's the one you want.
Now there's Jerry Young with his trials bike and an ice boat in the background.
I got a shot of that.
That's pretty unusual.
That's a great idea. Where is the ice boat?
Hey Jerry, if we wouldn't get arrested, you could tow me up with that.
We'll get it ready.
Yeah.
You just need a longer rope to tow it from the road.
Right.
Well, you got the rope right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here I am ice boating and the wind quit. But it sure is beautiful up here. This is Greg's boat. Really, really fun. I think the wind's picking back up again. I better put this camera down, get ready. So the deal is he told me to go perpendicular to the wind. Keep the sail perpendicular to the wind. Tow motor this time around that pulley, so I don't have too much.
Hear that one going, so it's probably over there. It is. And they go. Worked out there. Here's the setup. We have the people at the other end where the wench is, and the lake, ice fishermen in the distance, and into the sun. Coming around, we see this tow line out to Aaron and his glider with his crew. All right, we've turned around, facing into the wind. I'm trying to get out of the way, hopefully, and get a good shot here of this operation. This is trials. Hopefully no tribulations. And we're going to try to winch Aaron up. He is facing into the wind. His crew is trying to keep his wings even. And I'm not sure if we went over what the word was for go. I think they're trying to get everything just so. Right, hard-working crew, Chuck.
Can you take up slack? Slow, slow.
All right, do you hear that motor over my shoulder? Back at the ranch. There we go. It's gorgeous out here. Just about ready. Looks like we have some slack out of the line. Slack's out of the line. All right. This is take one. Should probably. Good one, Lucas.
Well, I'm going to go talk to your dad, and I'm going to more speed, lower the speed, drop, or follow my hand. I was trying to give him up to.
Yeah, we need some signals, I guess. All right, that was take one.
Like,
Take two. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Here we go. Take the slack out, I hope. Keep it into the wind. Yeah, baby. He's off the ground and we have liftoff. Nice. Good job. Uh-oh, okay. Okay. Glad you hit the release. Oh, goodness. Nice landing. And a success. After take two, and we got airborne.
What them guys
What do
say
you-
over there?
What do you say, Aaron?
I say it was pretty fun.
You got off the ground. You were a good
Yeah,
10
it was
feet.
working.
He was flying.
You know, this wind is laminar out here. It was smooth. Once I got in the air, it felt smooth.
Excellent. And there we go, and
Whoa, that looks like a mess.
Yeah, that's true.
show the bird's nest.
That's a job for Julie. I usually ask Julie to deal with my rope knots. We really did a good one this time.
Yeah, so much for take three.
Yeah, we were going to fly again, but after we saw that, nope.
His father comes out and says,
It's done.
That was a great time though, Aaron, and you did
Oh.
get off the ground.
It's really screwed up. I have never seen it that bad. We should have had that drogue chute on it.
Are you
Next
filming
time we will. Yeah. Well, that drogue should have been like 30 or 40 feet in front of me. That way it would have kept tension on that rope when I popped the release.
I don't know. I felt a little jerk and
Oh,
Then I saw you start coming down, and I thought, okay, shut off the
It's
power.
just like when you're fishing and you got it on your phone.
yeah, it was
and
like
breaks
somebody
off,
ripped
all
your
of a
line
sudden
off
you got
and
a bird's
pew!
nest in your
I just
reel,
didn't
and
have.
it's that.
I didn't have
It made
that.
a snapping noise. It made a real high pitch.
Oh, did it?
Did you hear that?
I had the,
When something was going on in there, I think
Karen?
oh,
it made a lot of tension inside there.
oh.
That's good for me.
When I hit that release, there was some pressure on that line yet,
Oh,
and it just flung away from me.
maybe that's what made it.
So it probably slammed up
Well,
into here.
And it
You know.
happened
You
so.
need to computerize this thing.
Well, I got some, I got to do some improvements.
Yeah, it's a good start though. Holy smoly.
Well, there's been other people that had these winches, but I kind of redesigned the way it works, or the way it's situated on the trailer.
Yeah.
Because other people had the line going out underneath the front of the scooter, and then you always had to like nail the trailer down.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I got it end for end, so I can leave it right hooked to the vehicle. So
Yeah, we got to figure out one.
Where's that going on?
yeah. Well, I got some balling up to unravel here. Don't have a hot tub, but we got a big fire. There you go. We used to have a hot tub. Now the cats have a hot tub. We turned it into a cat house. Flipped it upside down and covered it with dirt.
I've seen pictures and I always thought that I'd build one, but I thought about it a few times. I mean, you just have that copper piping or whatever that would wrap around your fire burner.
Yeah, right next to the blue glider. This sucker's heavy. That dog forget his ball. Yeah. Yeah, so Sunday's excursion up there to the lake where we got a chance to test this thing, and you know, we used it for a couple short flights and then found out that when I released, the rope balled up on the spool and caused problems. That gave me the impetus to actually get working on this thing and improving it. I took the old fair lead off that I had been using on there, and I had built this one a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago, and I finally was stirred up enough to put it on there, and that allowed me to do some other things, like make this sort of like a tensioning clamp that provides a little tension to the rope as it goes through there. It provides a little bit of tension right here on this rope as it's winding up. I don't know if you can see that, but it pulls through these boards, and the boards have spring pressure on them against that rope. And the other modification was, got this, now if I can hold the camera and that together, I've got the, like, I've seen this brush method used against the spool. That provides some tension too on, and kind of keeps the rope aligned to the spool as it's drawing it in, winding it up. So I have a bungee cord on that. I probably should add a hinge, but it does provide enough tension there just with bolts that are loose down there. They let it pivot enough. So it might just be fine. Maybe I'll leave it alone. But I'm going to run a test on it and see how it works. So something else that I've added on this Fairlead box is a couple of pieces of wood in here that are pivoting. They pivot, and they also have spring pressure against one another just by attaching a couple drywall screws and springs between them. I did that on each side. You can see that. So what they do is they sort of pinch the rope, and they're movable up and down, so they'll go up and down with the rope as the rope gets lower on the spool. But what I really wanted to say about that is, you know, what I was attempting to do here is to put tension, and you can see that those have, I need to have this up. So see that has tension on it right there? It's actually gripping on that rope a little bit. So as it's rolling it in, it's applying a bit of tension to that rope. But I still sort of think that I'm going to need to oscillate this rope back and forth here, because it builds up in the middle and then it falls off to the edges, and it's kind of waxy, it's slippery. So it tends to do that. It'll fall off to the edges, and then you end up with excess rope that you can pull out that may possibly loop out and jump off here. But then again, you know, if it had a serious amount of toe tension on it, it may tighten up on itself in there, and maybe this will not be an issue. So I'm actually going to have to use it with some actual application of tension, and then when I'm retracting it, I need to have that drogue chute on there, and we'll see how it works. And if it doesn't work, well, then I guess my next step is I'm going to have to make that oscillating spooler thing that I'm talking about with the wiper motor, car wiper motor. But anyway, that's what I've got so far. One of the things that this rope tends to do, because it's sort of slippery rope, is it like slips down beside of itself. And maybe some of that will go away eventually, but I can see there is a potential issue here yet. And I think it's because it slips off of here. You know, it slips off the high area down lower. So I might need to have some sort of an oscillating spooler to keep this aligned on this spool as it's winding it up. You know, to move it from one side to the other as it's rolling it up. And I've seen that before. Another pilot, a friend of mine named Eric, he built a scooter tow rig, and he used a windshield wiper motor that went back and forth. It had like a sort of a cam system or something in it where it would oscillate back and forth. Well, I guess I could do something like that here too. I could have some sort of a track beam across here, and have some sort of maybe another thing with a couple rollers that would just sit right in here and oscillate back and forth. These boards, the other thing I thought I would show you on this, I call it my tug. Anyways, it's just a joke, all this stuff up here. But so in order to start this thing, you actually have to push the brake on a scooter. So what I have going on is I welded a piece of rebar and a piece of flat steel onto the old brake pedal of the scooter, so that you have a rod or a thing that you can pull right here. What I intend to do is run a bungee cord from somewhere here up to this to automatically pull it on, so that it's always got brake pressure on it. And if you want to release the brake pressure, you're going to actually have to push and fight against the bungee cord or spring or whatever. The reason for doing that is it'll take a conscious effort to begin a tow. In other words, you'll have to push this forward against the pressure of the bungee or the spring, and then you can start the tow. And when the tow is over, you're going to just back off the throttle and you're going to also let go of the brake, which is like it's going to fail safe. In other words, it's going to stop. It's going to stop the drum right now with the brake. So that's the way I want to proceed going forward. And then the other modification I just wanted to show you is I have a throttle stop on here, which I would say that probably stops the throttle at about a quarter throttle right now when it hits that. But actually the tow that I did on Sunday with this scooter, when my father towed me up, he was only giving me like, you know, like an 1/8 throttle, not even to that stop. You can see I can move this stop back. If I want to give somebody half throttle, I could move that back further and give them more throttle, but really for this low and slow towing type stuff, there's no need to apply that much power. These things have quite a bit of power as a 250cc, and when we were towing people up high, you know, to 600 or 700 feet with these, you didn't really need to apply that much throttle. It was only like half throttle, and you would hear the engine, you know, groan a little bit at that half throttle, but that was by no means all that this scooter had to offer. So I don't see really going above half throttle trying to pull people up with this thing, even if you're trying to tow high. So that's just my 2 cents on it. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed that, and hope to see you out flying soon. Once this winter's over, we'll be back to flying the mountains.